धर्म क्षेत्र कुरुक्षेत्र।
कब ये महाभारत हुआ, कब आत्मा ने युद्ध रचा, कब मोह ने मन को बांधा, कब गीता ज्ञान प्रकट हुआ।
किसने ये वाणी सुनी, किसकी ये कहानी, गीता एक अर्जुन सुनी, या हर आत्मा में गूंजे ये ध्वनि।
क्या ये इतिहास की गाथा थी या चेतना का संघर्ष था? क्या ये रणभूमि बाहर थी या भीतर का ही कुरुक्षेत्र था?
गीता क्या युद्ध की पुकार है या शांति की घोषणा?
गीता क्या शास्त्र है या ईश्वर का प्रेम संदेश? क्यों है
ये गीता हर युग में अमर,
क्यों प्यारी है हर दिल को,
क्यों जगाती है आत्माओं को आज भी। सर्वधर्मान्य परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज, अहं त्वा सर्व पापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः।
किसने ये कहा? युगों युगों की ये गाथा न्यारी, अमृत सी यह वाणी प्यारी।
उसमें छुपा है रहस्य अनमोल, ज्ञान के अद्भुत है ये बोल।
यदा यदा हे धर्म घटे अधर्म बढ़े जग में, तब तब भगवान प्रगटे ब्रह्मा तन में।
ज्ञान की गंगा बहाने अंधकार मिटाने, सतयोगी वृक्ष उगाने, सत्य धर्म जगाने, संसार को प्रेम सिखाने, मन को निर्मल करने, हर हृदय में दीप जलाने, सदगति का मार्ग दिखाने। मन मना भव मद भक्तो मद्याजी मान नमस्कुरु।
मामे वैश्यसि सत्यम ते प्रतिजाने प्रेयोसि में। किसने ये कहा?
Good morning. A quick revision of some ideas we have spoken. One line in this song, whose story is this? And kahani kiski? So here this is a story of the invisible player. He is the invisible actor, but he is also the invisible prince, and he is the invisible angel. He is immortal, and his life is with God eternally. No one can change this truth, and this is right now and forever. His world is positive universe, which means there is nothing inauspicious in his world. Natural stages of happiness, and we said happiness comes with friends. Life of silent bliss and contentment. Everyone is like this, godlike and childlike. And so this is a world of silent celestial celebration. And no one can change it. It remains like this. Now there is a gift for them. This is also very positive. There is a story, and story is made in the form of the drama. It's a gift, but it's a gift. You watch it, but we also said it is a foreign world. You don't go and create any bondages in it. It is a story, but it is not a support for you. It is not a place where you can go and take support or become dependent on. We show here this dotted line, green dotted line. So you come into this world of story, but you cross the dotted line, you become dependent. You create attachments. And we mentioned it is a world of dangers. Khatre ki dunya. It is an unpredictable world. It is a temporary world. So every bit of attachment brings sorrow within it. We will be we will be changing things. We also mentioned we not only go into that foreign world, create attachments, we give birth to an I, ego, and we underline this word I. You define yourselves based on a world that is not you, that is not yours, and you define yourselves. It is like a big psychological fault that we enter into, and it becomes a big chaos. As we will see further, our war starts because of this I that is created. We'll see. So far we see that, and it may be the attitudes of many, that just a little attachments, where is a problem? Why do you worry too much? Why are we talking too much about this little attachments? But this ego that we create, we saw it has got many heads. We saw you create an identity, define yourselves based on country you are associated with. We called it false I or a small I. We showed it in that image. Identity. It is not academic. You get emotions based on it. This I is based upon this foreign world, temporary world. It is forever insecure. Each of these I sees itself as a victim. Things can change, things can end. So there are reactions that are coming from this I. These are very, very different to our original state. The original state is of perfection and happiness and immortality, secure. It is a world of love and joy. That is the life. He silently feels he is lucky. Now when this I is created, he is not feeling lucky. He is seeing himself as a victim. And because he is victim, he wants to get bigger. And that is what the effort is, everyone's effort. Why there is greed, why there is violence, he wants to protect himself. He is a victim. And so this different I created based upon the foreign world. We have to ask, even right now, this invisible player, how much we were awake to this invisible player associated with the story, and how much we are defining ourselves based on the story. Prashant is part of the story. It is that our soul mixing it with Prashant means crossing the line. Prashant is a part, temporary part that is going to begin, finish, it is gone. The invisible actor is 100% separate to that part. When we are awake to this, then all this wonderful starting position is experienced. You cross the line, mix it, then the emotions of the victim are coming in. We identify with ridiculous things, like identify with other people, some celebrities, maybe leaders of your country. Identify. How do we know we identify? We get emotions. If there is something that goes wrong, criticism, you take it personally. You hold grudges, anger comes. And we said 99% of our vices, anger and jealousies and sadness, depressions are because of these false identities. 100% of them are because of crossing the line, creating any attachments. But you create this identity, they are the cause of lots of our sorrows. We'll see the next image, quickly summarizing some things we discussed. So here we are seeing, if you are to take a photograph of your mind, what will you see? We see here, this is like the print you will get, photograph of the mind, in which there are many eye. One eye is based upon the dog, one eye is based on the shoes, one eye is based upon religion you are born in, country you are born in. But one big eye here, it is shown, maybe it is based upon the job you do, the professor of advanced mathematics, so if he's sitting in this gathering, he says, do everyone know here who I am, with that kind of, but someone else may have even bigger eye than the professor, that she is the wife of the professor. So all these eyes, they're getting bigger and bigger, and as a result, the true I is becoming smaller. It is shown in the image of a tiny point, symbol of a capital I, but the true I is reduced. We all start from a position like this, represented by 100% soul consciousness. It just means the invisible player is associated with this great story, but nothing is mine, nothing is I in this world. It's a story. He's just a witness, he's just passing through. This moment, experiment yourselves, and the extra emphasis, the role you are playing. We gave the example, Satish is playing a part of a camel in a children's drama. And camel is 100% separate to Satish. If he starts thinking he is the camel, that is big psychological confusion. Big confusion, not small. It may be sent to the hospital if he thinks he is a camel. Here we have to ask ourselves, are we seeing ourselves as camel? And or seeing ourselves as virtuous camel? Because we are making so much spiritual effort. That is not our destination. Destination is to step out of this camel identity. And so here, all these different identities, they are all connected with the camel world, with the story world. Here is representation. The invisible actor is 100% clear that he is the actor and just associated temporarily with this drama of Prashant and everything around him. And he remains the invisible observer. He remains the invisible player. His world is separate. And so he is connected to his life, alokik life. Now we are going to come to the subject of today. Today will be the introduction, and this subject will continue in few sessions. We are showing here the psychodrama. What is happening in the mind is shown beautifully in the image of a story Ramayan is beautiful art in that sense. And we are picking up what Baba shows to us and how this within this story is a beautiful message. And what is the message? There is the princess, she becomes the queen. Her name is Sita. She is perfect, virtuous, happy, beautiful. So the soul represents Sita. We have shown her with a crown here. Bit symbolic, floating crown. And Sita is married to Ram. Ram is the king. He is strong, he is wise, he is perfect. Perfect in every aspect. He is a perfect brother, perfect son, perfect ruler, every aspect perfect. In this world of Ram, there is constant happiness. There is no concept of sorrow. Happiness comes with friends. So that is the word of Ram. But story will not be complete without a bad guy. And the bad guy here is Ravan. So Ravan comes in. And what happens with Ravan? Ravan is the king of demons. And demons deal with sorrow. Take sorrow, give sorrow. In the kingdom of Ram, their life is of take happiness, give happiness. There is no concept of sorrow. So Ravan is the king of demons. And Ravan wants to give sorrow to Sita. But he cannot do anything to Sita as long as she stays behind this dotted green line. What is that dotted green line? What we saw in the very first sketch. That dot, in this case, it is a line of ignorance, first line of defense. Srimad and all comes later, but this is just a line of ignorance. The moment you cross this line, you are creating attachments in the foreign world. We said it's a foreign world, we have no rights there at all. So one who is sensible, he doesn't even create any desire there. Doesn't create any expectation. He just watches the drama, comes back. So this is the first line of defense, line of ignorance. And when Sita is behind this line, this is the true Lakshman Resha. Sita cannot be affected even the slightest by Ravan's sorrows and Ravan's complications. So Sita is shown here behind the line. But Ravan is king in ignorance. So he is fully into embodiment of ignorance. But he has one cleverness, how to get others into ignorance. He attends all the management programs and leadership programs. He is always attending, updating his wisdom of how to get others into ignorance. So he sends here a golden deer. It looks like a deer here. So this deer is outside the dotted line. So Sita feels, wow, deer, and she just has to cross the line once, and then she can come back with her deer. So for one reason or other, Sita crosses the line. We are seeing the edited version of this. So Sita crosses the line, and then what happens? Once you go from light into darkness, it is not easy to come back into light. If you are in a dark room, from there to find way out is more difficult. So Sita goes into darkness. Now it is more difficult for her to come back. She thought it will be easy. And then in the story we know that under the skin of the deer is another demon. Sita gets kidnapped. Now she is in the Ravan's kingdom. She is kept as a slave in Ravan's kingdom. Slave to what? Slave to whom? Slave to Ravan. And Ravan has got 10 heads. And these 10 heads, they all need different things. We don't say here each one head is of anger, one head of greed. We don't say it that way. In these 10 heads, each head needs different things. Each head can get angry and each head can get into envy. This is the head. One head here is shown. This head needs cigarettes. You can see that head with a cigarette in its mouth. Can you see the cigarette? So that head all the time wants cigarettes. He is banking table, wants cigarettes. And Sita has to run to the nearest tobacco shop to buy her cigarettes. And when he gets her cigarettes, she says, good slave, he's happy. The master is happy. That is not the end of her problem. What happens next? That head gets bigger. That cigarette is the supply, khurak, nourishment for that head. And when that head is bigger, that bigger head wants more cigarettes. And then Sita has to run faster to get these cigarettes, supplies to her boss. And bigger the head becomes, he wants more. And he becomes a proper demon. Just like a little bit, a little small one of a tiger, cub of a tiger, appears so innocent, so harmless. You feed him, what happens? He gets bigger. Now he is 10 times your, size. He wants to eat you, with his fangs. Same happens here. You feed this demon, he gets bigger, and as he gets bigger, he becomes a proper demon. It means he can take sorrow of all kinds and give sorrow of all kinds. Small demon doesn't appear as harmless. We can be innocent dealing with it. Big demon creates a chaos. And Sita here is the slave feeding this monster. And as this monster gets bigger, he is now proper Ravan. This is a story. One question. We said this is a psychodrama. This is a drama that is happening within our head. This is a psychodrama going on in each one's head, each human being on the planet. Whatever background they are in, they may be atheist. They don't believe in Ram. They don't want to know God. But this drama is going on in each one's head. There is a Sita, there is a dotted line, and there is Ravan there. May I ask, what are these different heads? What do they represent? We said dotted line represents ignorance, and behind that line is wisdom and life of knowledge, soul consciousness is there. What are these dotted lines? What are these heads of Ravan? Vices. What is behind vices? Yes. Desires. What is behind desires?
Emptiness.
Emptiness. And what is behind that? What we saw yesterday, these false identities, small I that we saw, these are different heads of Ravan. So one head of Ravan wants cigarettes, another head of Ravan wants chocolates, another head of Ravan wants a position and a bigger position, another head of Ravan wants praise, another head of Ravan just wants another person. Just sit here, if you are away, I get depressed. I miss you, so I love you, so stay here. Another head of Ravan wants lust. So all these different heads of Ravan are trapped in that foreign world. That is all. We are seeing now that game started in a small way, you cross the line, it is a foreign world, just a little desire, little attachment. As we are going further, it is creating a ego there. You're not just creating this little attachment. I'm impressed with something in the foreign world. I is created based upon a world that is not ours. And we have not even right that. We are defining ourselves based on that. Now we have created many heads of this I, and they are made bigger and bigger, and each of these head is victim. These are the Ravan's heads. Each head sees itself as a victim, and it is desperate to survive. It wants to try anything to remain alive. We said in insect or a cockroach, everyone wants to survive. So also each head wants to survive, and it doesn't care about you. So here, this Ravan doesn't think about Sita. It doesn't care about Sita. It just wants to survive. It wants to get bigger. It is keeping Sita as a slave to feed itself. And this is a stage set for the war. So our victory we are talking about. Big victory here. In the line, in the song that we are hearing, it is beautifully explained. It is a real Kurukshetra that is happening here. There is a big war, and victory over here has a power to change the world to a different world altogether. We get a glimpses of it. We said a starting position of each of this player, invisible player, is of 100% joy, 100% bliss, and bliss comes with friends. There is no reason for anything inauspicious. Life of silent love and joy. I'm emphasizing here, we are not talking about here camels. Here we are not talking about human beings. Invisible players. Invisible, completely separate, not to be mixed with. That dotted line represents you start mixing your world with the story world. Prashant is part of the story world. We are not talking about Prashant. It is a story of the invisible traveler, invisible player, and he's the invisible actor. So, as was said, today is the beginning, introduction of this psychodrama. Over the next few days we will have a better understanding of this game and how we win this game.